Hey, what's going on, people? So today I'm gonna start with a topic that says, and it's for men. The truth will set you free. A lot of men having problems understanding how to be men in the current culture and society. And I'm gonna start with the Bible. I know a lot of people have their issues with the Bible and they may not believe it, but the principle remains the same. And we all know the story of Adam and Eve. I'm gonna quickly give you a synopsis. Adam and Eve came into the garden. They disobeyed God because God told them, do not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So, long story short, they disobeyed him. But it's the consequences and the reasons that God told Adam that are very interesting to me. See, for Adam, because this is about men, for Adam, the issue was him not obeying God. And the second thing, it was for him listening to the word of his woman. And what's interesting about that is that men are biblically made in the image of God. That's a spiritual image. We reflect his nature, his attributes. His attributes are of self control, of order, basically reflecting what's right and what's good and what's the acceptable will of God. That's what a man embodies. And you see, when we get to that level, we have a certain discipline, a self control, a understanding of even our own wickedness, to be honest, to call it out, and to not let it control us. And this is where I'm getting to. You see, men need to stop chasing women altogether. The whole concept of chasing, running after something that's running away from you is just stupid. I don't know where it came from, and I'm pretty sure it came from some man listening to some women. And also, what men need to do is stop letting what a woman wants to do, say, dictate his life. As a man, it's counterintuitive what being a man is. You putting yourself in a position to control your life, to do the things that you want to do on your terms, being a warrior, overcoming all adversity, all obstacles, to add just more order and structure to a chaotic world, to keep it functional. That's what men do. That's why a biblical man has so much uh, order and so much to add to a chaotic world. And as men give up those attributes and that structure, we get the world we have today. Look, I tell men, look, if women want to reject the biblical design, because a man first submits to God. That's our creator. That's who keeps us alive. That's who's ordered his creation to act and function a certain way for the betterment of all. And men uphold that from a dominion position, a position of authority, leadership. We don't give up power to gain access to anything because that access is already given to us. So, in this current legal situation and culture, I'm going to be honest. Women will not openly desire the man who's focused on developing himself and not a woman to build his character through self mastery, which is overcoming his vices, his weaknesses, his own evils, and gaining self control and sexual discipline, which will cause him to avoid being manipulated by anyone, not just women, but anyone and anything. There are too many men who are manipulated by the world, being enticed by vanity, greed, and lust, and all these things to draw them into destructive situations. What is the value of being greedy if it causes you to rob a bank, to live a criminal life because you cannot even discern or control yourself? What is the value of that if it costs you your freedom? And we have a world full of case studies where men have compromised themselves in the acquisition resources. So, and we gotta qualify. Foolish, scandalous women will always seek men who validate themselves by female attention and sexual access to them. Because that woman only has to use her body and the prospect of sex to deceive a foolish, undisciplined man into the situation that will cause him to give up his sovereignty and authority over his life and place himself into a situation where a woman can legally control, extort, and manipulate his situation, holding his peace, finances, and children hostage just to meet her desires and demands. And that's what we see. We see a lot of men who are just so, I don't know, captivated, so infatuated with a woman to the point where they got themselves in a situation in retrospect, they can't even understand how they got there. That's how detached from critical thinking, from masculinity, you can get when you don't master yourself as a man. And so, I'm just bringing these things to light because we live in a society, um, legally and culturally, that will hold women unaccountable. So, a responsible masculine man of polished character, and I say polished character, meaning that his trial and error, his experiences, his own warrior mindset to overcome, which will make him wise and productive, will only be valued when a woman can no longer live off her looks and has destroyed and wasted her youth seeking attention and money. And see, that's what living off your looks will do. It will require you to have a cleanup man in your later years. And that is not a sincere, authentic scenario that a man wants to place himself in. You see, the theme is a qualified masculine man, wise man, I must add that, structures his life where the manipulative tactics of a woman mean nothing. They can never affect his focus, his meaning, and purpose in life because that will always relate to man securing his eternity first with his creator, with God. And that requires us to be honest about the evils that we commit in this world and what's actually controlling us and what's actually dictating our purpose to live. Because a lot of people just don't understand that. And surviving and thriving in life that will always relate to a man securing uh, his means to survive and thrive in life while avoiding all the negative consequences of being foolish. You see, men only focus on controlling uh, themselves. That's what men do. We only focus on controlling what we can do, taking personal responsibility for the choices we make. We can't help that the majority of women have voted to compete with men, to create a life where they feel or they have the illusion that they don't need men in a position of authority from a legal sense. But we must also understand that they will always cater to their biological need to find a man that they find attractive and useful while maintaining that position that gives them an illusion of legal empowerment. They're going to always be women, folks. They're going to always want a man that they want. But since the world gives them the platform to feel empowered, they're not going to give that up. So men, you need to maintain what you know is right. Maintain your sovereign position in life. Maintain your ability to control yourself. The solution is very simple for today. Men just must avoid corrupt, government regulated institutions that will diminish the authority of men to control our lives, resources, and children. It's that simple. Do not give a woman or anything leverage to extort you against the legal system. Just don't do it. I mean, it's that simple. And for me personally, that includes any choice or situation that will diminish my authority as a man. Because as a man, from a young age, I've always had a warrior mindset to overcome all things in my life. And that includes valuing my health, strengthening my mind, my body, and spirit to be able to just let everything in life make me better. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything. It was just making me better. I didn't fear or flee challenges. And I wanted people to test me so I can prove that I've actually accomplished a level of mastery that I actually thought I did. I wanted it to be proven. Just didn't want it to feel like I was in control. I wanted that situation to be tested so I know I'm in control. And I guess this was a rarity among men these days. So, you know, it's crazy because when you naturally develop yourself, mind, body, and spirit, you will naturally draw all things in life to you as a man, and that will include women and the women you want, not just the women you can get. So and they will come to you as a man on your terms. You know, because let's be honest, man, a woman, she cannot resist a man that she actually wants. And some of the issue is that women are both choosing the man they want while they choosing the man they can extort at the same time. And that is an issue. But that shouldn't control a man who's controlling his life. A man who has a focus, a man who has a mastery of self, he's outside of that game. He doesn't have to play it because he's not even thinking about a woman. He understands that as long as he's focusing on what he needs to do, he will have to reject more women than he accepts because he's risen above the fray. He's risen above the foolishness. And, a lot of men don't realize that, don't even have a concept of a woman coming to you on your terms. She qualifying you as a man that's worthy on such a level that she's willing to do whatever is required to be in your presence. Men don't believe that exists. They just don't believe that. And in this current culture where sex is easy and weaponized against weak men, you got OnlyFans, you got dating, all these unbiblical, foolish things that allow women to acquire resources while maintaining a life to be free and promiscuous. All a man needs to do is just remember that in masteries of his own evils, which is more biblical, because when you hold yourself to a righteous standard, which comes from me biblically through our Creator, all the evils and traps and extortions and tactics will fall flat. They will be exposed.